Hi, my name is Hugo Garcia with the audiovisual crew. Would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm Vanessa Sommerfeld. I teach anatomy and physiology and forensic science.
Okay. We are interviewing a couple teachers about the topic of bullying, if you're open to talk about that.
I am.
Can you describe a time in your life where you were bullied?
I was bullied in high school. I went to Longview High School. And there was, it started off fairly small group of girls, but it eventually was a lot of girls that didn't like me. Of course, it was to do with a boy, of course. Were actually in the year below me, so they were younger than me, but there were so many of them, and they pretty much made my life miserable for most of my time in high school. They started rumors about me. They would purposely ignore me. They, if I sat down at a table like at the cafeteria and sat down to eat or whatever, the conversation would just get really quiet, and like you'd see these eye movements where it was obvious I wasn't welcome. And so most of the time I just got my food and went outside and ate by myself. They would make rude hand gestures or yell things at me when I was walking to my car. And there was never any violence, but there were threats of violence. One of the girls bragged that she was gonna steal some acid from the chemistry lab and throw it at me. So it got pretty bad.
Can you describe to me the instant moment where you feel like you were being affected by it?
When I tried to get friends by being involved in things, and I was active in school. I was on the swim, I dove for the swim team. I was on the newspaper staff. I was a cheerleader all 4 years. So you wouldn't think somebody who was a cheerleader could get bullied, but cheerleaders were in on it, and they were mean. And when I was a senior, I had an injury that kept me from cheering the first 3 games of the season, and I was pretty upset about it. But when the doctor cleared me to come back, I was super excited, and I came into cheer class and was, excited to be able to cheer again. It was my senior year, and I was captain. But they basically kind of ganged up and told me that they had already brought one of the girls from JV up to kind of be in my spot, and they pretty much said, no, we don't want you to come back. We're gonna keep this one. And our sponsor at the time was young and inexperienced, and she didn't intervene on my behalf. And so I was absolutely, it was my senior year, and I was heartbroken. And so fortunately, a teacher noticed that I was upset and asked me what was going on. And when I told her, she was furious and said, no, that's your spot. You tried out for it. You earned it. That they don't get to decide, whether or not you cheer. Your doctor said it's okay. You can. So that was the only reason I was sort of allowed. But the teacher went to the sponsor and said, you have to do something about this. And so they let me cheer. So I cheered the rest of the year, but it was just heartbreaking to know that for the whole rest of the year, I felt like they don't like me. They don't want me on their squad. And it was heartbreaking.
So why did you want to share your story with the students here at Pine Tree High School?
Well, a couple of things. I want people to know that it can happen to anyone. You might think somebody has it all together. I've talked to people since high school, and they had no idea how lonely I was. They had no idea that I laid out in my backyard on senior skip day so that nobody would know that I wasn't invited to go to the lake like everybody else was. And they just thought I had it all together and I was just fine. But it can happen to anyone. And the only reason the situation was remedied is because a teacher intervened on my behalf. So I would encourage anyone who's experiencing it to tell somebody. And then I want them to know anyone who's experiencing bullying, I want you to know that there's a big wide world out there, and you are kind of stuck in this environment with these people for this time in your life. But after you get out of high school, no matter how weird you think you are, there is your own particular brand of weird out there, and you're going to find your people, because they are going to like you for who you are, exactly who you are. And I found my people, and I want to encourage young people to understand that there is life after high school. And if high school really is the best time in your life, then you're doing it wrong, because it gets way better. And so just hang in there, and you'll be okay.
Well, on behalf of me and the rest of the audiovisual crew here at Pine Tree, I thank you for your time. I thank you for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.